Okay. Go right
All right,
ahead.
let's get this started. Hello and welcome to the Addicts Anonymous podcast. I'm your host, Jamar. Today is episode 86, and we're going to be interviewing Cynthia D. How are you this morning, Cynthia?
I'm blessed and highly favored. What about you, John?
I'm doing well. Excited to do this with you. We've been planning this for a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's get the party started and dive in. Tell me about your childhood growing up. What was it like when you were young?
Oh my goodness. I've never really had a childhood. Ever since I was from the time I was 3 years old until I'll say around 6, I was molested from a family member. So I never really had a childhood. I didn't grow up doing what little girls did, play with dolls and all that kind of stuff. I'm the oldest of 6 of us. And I was raised in the Jeffrey Projects of Detroit, Michigan. So I I was just a crook. I turned into a crook because of all the molestation, and I've been raped, robbed, beaten, molested. I mean, I done did it all. It's just only, can I say God? Only by the grace of God that I'm here today. So up until I was around 11 years old, uh, my father almost killed somebody for molesting me. And I just thought that that's all that men wanted from me, was just to keep putting their hands on me all the time.
Who
So
who was at a young age who was molesting you?
this guy, it was a friend of my father's. He was molesting me at a young age. From the time I was 11 to maybe I got 13, when I really knew the difference and
What
having
was
sex
he?
what sex meant.
Was he babysitting you or something?
Yeah, he was the babysitter. Yeah,
Okay.
he was the babysitter. Every now and then, my mother, she didn't go out that much. My mother was at home, mama. But when they did have their little time out, he would be the one that watched us. And he told me if I tell it, story, I'm gonna kill you. Same old story that they tell us as children, and
You
we
must have been
believe.
scared.
I was horrified. I was just horrified. So,
Yeah, I can't imagine being in that situation.
and then hmm, I had another. He was an older man, and he was my grandmother's brother, and he started the molestation at 3 years old, and he used to call it riding a pony. And I didn't know what riding a pony was, but he used to have me sitting on his face and just ride his face. So you know what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
So he did that until I was like 6 years old. I didn't know any better. I thought that was the norm. Every time I went over there, that's what he did. So I thought that's what they do. I didn't know any better. So I went along with that for until I was around 6, and I told my mother about it, and it was like she kind of believed me, and it broke my heart. You
You
know,
said she didn't believe you.
she didn't believe me. She was just like her uncle. You know how parents do. Couldn't have done this to me. I didn't know what I was talking about. All that old kind of stuff, and it really blew me away that she wouldn't believe me when I told her these men were touching me. I said they kept bothering me. That's what I used to call it, bothering me. What you mean bothering you? And I tell her, down there, mama, down there. She never believed me. Well, I thought she never believed me. Maybe she just wasn't brave enough to believe me. I know today she didn't know any better. My mother had me when she was 14. So she didn't know
Wow.
any better.
So
Yeah,
she was a really, really young mom.
she was a real young mother, and I didn't respect that until recently. I mean, after I got clean. I've been clean now almost 7 years. And me and my mother kind of really just made up in 15 when I was starting to get clean, because I helped all this anger, resentments, and everything towards her, because I thought the sun rose and set in my mother. My mother couldn't do no wrong, none, until she didn't believe me. Then it went somewhere else. And from there, I just spiraled out of control. You know, one thing I did for her though, she wanted me to finish school, all of us. It was 6 of us, and I was the oldest, so I felt this dire need. to do it for my brothers and sisters. I had to do this for them. It wasn't even about me. And nothing ever has been about me until lately. And then it still ain't about me because I give all me to my women, you know. So um, it was just I don't know how to say this with my mother. Uh, I just loved her a lot, too much, you know.
It just
And
sounded very complicated.
it is. It was deep. It was deep, and like I said, I didn't really get over it until what am I, 64 now? And in 15, I was like 58, 59, something like that. And
Yeah.
that's when we had to talk. And all those years, we just had to talk. And we cried and did all that together and made up and stuff. And she just didn't know. I didn't know she didn't know, but she didn't know. I thought she was the mother. Mothers are supposed to know these things. They're supposed to know what to tell their little girls. They tell you, don't let nobody bother you. If somebody bothers you down there, let me know and all that. And when I told you, you didn't believe me. So, wow.
When you were really young, did you tell anybody else or you just told your mom?
No, no. I didn't tell nobody for a long time. I stuffed it. I stuffed it for so long. Uh, I didn't even believe it happened. You know, that's how much I stuffed it. I wouldn't allow it to get into my psyche because I believed if I had a knowing what I know now, it would have destroyed me worse than what I was, you know. So no, I didn't ever tell anybody. And like I said, when I did tell it, they didn't believe me. So what no need of telling nobody else because I felt like they weren't gonna believe me. So what's the point? I wasn't gonna tell them because they didn't believe me. And then it just seemed like it just kept going on and on.
It must have been a
I mean,
really, really tough situation. I
oh
can't
my God.
imagine.
It was terrible. And it just kept going on and on, men after men. And I'm surprised I didn't never turn to women. I don't like, I never did that one because of the pain of being around a man. Every time I turn around, all he want to do is just touch me and have sex with me and all that old kind of stuff. Take it from me and all that old kind of stuff. And I don't know. It was terrible. So my best friend, what happened is after that, there was this guy coming around in the projects. He was a big dope dealer in the projects. So he come around the projects and he recruiting young kids. And I believe I was like 9 when he recruited me. And so we would go and mix up his stuff. And so when we mixing up his stuff, we got on masks and everything. Didn't have on no clothes, had on masks, gloves on your hands and stuff like that. But you still get the fumes and you still take your hand and be wiping your nose because it makes your nose run and stuff like that. And that's how I started getting addicted off of heroin for mixing up for somebody. And then it made me feel good. Cause
How did he recruit you? Were you hanging out on the streets or
no, he just they come out of projects and he would take people to take us to the movies. He had his pick. He knew what he was doing. He was a predator, and I never did look like I was 9, 10 years old. I never looked like that. I always
oh you Cynthia, you hit the mute button. Look at the bottom of your screen. You muted yourself. I can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself. There
can you
you
hear me now?
are. Now I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
No?
Uh,
Hold on one second.
got muted.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear you now? Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go. Let's continue.
Okay. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying before, if I'm not mistaken, that I was thinking that's a really tough situation for someone your age to be in. And I was always curious how he would find you. I mean, you
They
said they,
predators. They are just predators, and it's like in the projects, it's one side against the other. That shit you see on TV, that stuff be real in them projects. Trust me.
what do you mean
And
gangs
it be
going
like,
against each other?
yeah, yeah. But they wasn't gangs in my day. They was I don't know what you want to call them, but they wasn't gangs. They were oh gosh, we didn't consider them gangs. Maybe they were. We didn't consider them gangs. They was something like we treated them more like big brothers and stuff. Somebody that can help us out. Somebody that gave me money to give to my mother so she can have things, so she can help send us to school. So my sisters and brothers can have clothes and stuff like that. And they played on us like they was our big brother and they was gonna help us out and make sure my family ate and my sister and brother had clothes to wear to school and all that kind of stuff. So that's how they get you. That's how they got me. I don't know about the other people, but that's how they got me because I had this thing about being the oldest and I had to take care of my siblings and my mama, because my father was an addict too, you know. And mama told us for a long time he used to go to work. He wanted to work in them streets, selling that stuff I was mixing up, you know. So he my father, well, my stepfather, but he was the only daddy I knew. And he was a good guy. He did what he had to do for us. He'd send us to school in the morning and mama would be home for us at night when we got out of school. So it was one of them things. But I was just so curious about everything.
So
And
you never knew your real father?
I met my father. I met my father when I was like 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, when I met him, and so we had a little daughter father stuff for a little while. He died in 2006, and so we really never was. My stepfather was my dad until he tried to molest me one time. Him and my mother was going through whatever. That's how I looked at it to make it bearable that he touched me. You know, he used to come in there. He You know what? I never really told my mother in this story, like all the way through like this. Like I'm telling you. Wow, that's deep. Something I can get off. But anyway,
Just thinking about it probably brings up some bad memories, right?
yeah. He used to come in there and tell me how to take a bath, you know, put on cologne, what to wear to school and stuff like that. And I just thought he was being a daddy, you know. I didn't know that he was crazy too. And he took me out to a park one day and he kept calling me my mother's name. He didn't penetrate me or nothing like that, but he was playing with my stuff and, talking about calling me my mama name. And I kept on saying, Daddy, I ain't none of mama, I ain't none of mama, I'm sent. And he was like, he was gone, with the alcohol and the drugs and whatever they was going through in the home, you know, it got me. So I started running away from home because I couldn't. She didn't believe me again. That was her husband. They had been together since she was 16, and to her, he was taking care of her to the best of his ability for her, being my mother never had an education. She didn't get her GED till she was like 55 or something like that. She stayed home and took care of her kids. So, daddy was to her, I would say to her, since she didn't know any better, didn't know how to do anything, she raised us off of food stamps and the ADC. That's what they call it in Michigan, the ADC, Aid to Dependent Children. That's what they call it. And so I just wanted my mother to have the best of everything. And the only way that was going to happen is that I had to go and do shit I ain't had no business doing as no child. That's why I said I never had a childhood. I don't even know what being a child is. Never had it. So, oh my goodness.
You said you were doing stuff you had no business doing. What kind of stuff were you doing?
Oh God. Selling dope, robbing banks, pimping women. Sold my body a few times. I didn't ever like that. I just couldn't get into that. That
What age?
wasn't, get into selling my body for drugs. and all that kind of stuff. So I decided instead of doing that, I was gonna sell it myself. And then that way I went out there because I had so much trauma with a man touching me that I didn't want nobody jumping up and down on me for no damn drugs, you know. So no, I couldn't do that. So I just started selling it myself, stealing it, selling it. It didn't matter. However, whatever it took for me to get it without somebody touching me is what I did. I lied, stole, I did a lot of shit. A whole lot of stuff.
Do you remember what age you first ever touched a drug or alcohol?
I was 9.
9 years old. Wow. What was the
Um,
first thing you ever tried?
Heroin. Heroin was my drug of choice.
Oh my goodness.
I was snorting heroin from 9 until about 11. I started mainlining until around 17, until I had a
What?
spiritual awakening. I called myself. I went and barricaded myself in a hotel room because I was just tired of going everywhere, you know. And the guy I was with, he was like, he'll go in his neck and his groins, all over his body. And I just didn't want to be that girl, you know. And it was getting harder and harder for me to find veins. So I said, well, Lord, just get me out of this. And I went to a hotel and I called myself, barricade myself in a hotel, but that ain't what happened. But in my mind, that's what was happening. And a spirit came down out the ceiling, and all this white, couldn't see his face. He had gold fleece around this part of his face, and a belt, and the shoes, and the whole 9 yards. But I couldn't see his face, and all he did was just hold his arms out to me. And I don't know how long I stayed in that position because I didn't know if he was the devil, if he was God, or was I losing my mind? What the hell was going on? You know, I just didn't know. So I finally went into his arms, and I ain't used no more heroin since I was 17 years old. And I ain't picked up that again. Not that one. Not that one. But see, I was what they call it, ADHD as a child, real hyper.
Me
Ooh,
too.
I'm bipolar
I
now.
was never diagnosed when I was young, but
Mhm.
I got diagnosed when I was older. I'm all over the place. Even for these interviews, I have to
Yeah,
stay extremely
tell me about it.
focused.
You see me, don't you? Go in this place there where I'm bipolar. I can't help it. I had
Me
to.
too. Oh, we have so much in common. So I'm bipolar, I have ADHD and OCD,
Yes,
and a
indeed.
smidgen of
And
PTSD.
PTSD. Yeah, I got that too. I told the doctors where that comes from. That's an army disease. He said, "What you think you've been doing in them streets? Fighting a war." You know, I said, "Well, I'll be damned." Okay. So that's wow. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm still here today and I'm still sane. And I'm here talking to you, you know, and being able to share, you know. Uh wow. I went to school for my mother because my mama wanted me to go to school. Well, no, let's go to school. So while I was in school, though, she didn't know I was on drugs. I was using since I was 9. She didn't know that. And if she did, she wasn't. It behooves me that she didn't know. You know, I'm her
It
child.
scares me. It
Yeah,
scares me to think about a 9-year-old girl shooting her, or you said you
good.
were 11 actually when you started shooting.
I was 11 when I started shooting, but I was shooting since I was 9.
Because I have a
But
daughter now, so I see it as just imagine my daughter. I couldn't imagine that.
can't imagine. I can't imagine that.
It's
I don't know how
heartbreaking.
how that. Thank you. It was very heartbreaking for me, but I just didn't know that she didn't know. She just, you know, mother had her own madness she was going through too. 14 years old. Got by the time she was 16, she got 4 kids. You know, living with a man that was an addict, and she trying to hide it. You know, and trying to act like he wasn't addicted to all mind altering chemicals as well, but he
What kind of
was.
stuff was he addicted to?
He's on heroin. He's on
Heroin
heroin.
also.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah. The
ever
back.
do it together?
No. And you know something? Let me tell you something, Jim. My mother just told me this here not too long ago. She told me that she believed my daddy got me on drugs. I said, you got to be kidding me. I've never, ever seen him use. I knew it, and I would leave him some stuff laying around the house because I know how sick you can get when you don't have it. But I've never seen my daddy use. He didn't play that. No, sir. He wasn't gonna have that one. But she thought all these years, even after he been dead since like maybe 83, something like that, and she still been thinking all these years her husband got me started on drugs. Now imagine that, her having feelings about the man she claims she loved. Not that she claimed she did love him. They was together 30 years. And to think something like that, that your husband got your daughter on drugs, instead of her just asking me to see if I was gonna tell her the truth or not. She don't know if I was gonna lie or not, but I would have told her, Daddy, no, he ain't play that, not at all.
Well, that's one good thing, at least about the child. It's good that
Yeah,
he had the respect to hide it from you.
yeah. He called himself honey. I knew because I was an addict, so I knew what was going on. I stopped believing them stories about he going to work every day at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and not getting home to 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. I stopped believing them stories once I got addicted and knew what was going on. So
What do you mean believing? So he wasn't going to work? What do you mean
no,
believe?
he was going to work in the streets. He was a dope
Oh,
dealer. He was selling
gotcha.
drugs. He ain't never. I ain't never known my father to have no job, but that's what mother told us. He was working, and we, as kids, we want to believe it. So that was the story for years. He he really supposed to have been retired from there before he died, and somebody gave him a hot shot. You
What's a
know,
hot shot?
um, that's when they mix heroin and maybe battery acid or something together to kill you. Yeah, and we think it was his cousin. Somebody had something out for him, and then I don't know if it even has something to do with me either. It might have. I don't know. I don't even want to even think about that one. They ain't never came up. But I got sent away from home for murder, uh, maybe 40, 45 years ago. I was 20 years old,
What
and
happened?
I was living my drugs. What happened? Shit, I had to find drugs. I had to find me some drugs. All means necessary. I had to have it. And I met this guy who was 22 years older than me, and he was giving me all the things that I didn't have to go out there and do something stupid to get. He made sure I had money. He made sure we had clothes. He made sure my mother had money. Everything that I wanted from my mother, he did. But he was a big time dope dealer and a hitman. And I knew about the drugs, but I didn't know he was a hitman. But he were. And they killed him. They killed him and tried to kill me. This was a big case up in Detroit. Uh, they call it the triple beheadings. They cut people heads and hands and stuff off their body, and then I had to help get rid of them. And by the time we got back to go take them somewhere else, the police had found them, and then the investigation started. So,
So
and
you were 20 years old when all this happened?
I was I was 18, I believe, when it started, 18 or 19. I stayed in protective custody for 3 years because they were trying to kill me before I testified. So, and I've been going away from home ever since.
What was
They
that like? What was it like being in protective custody?
they tried to kill me up there. They had me in a precinct for one thing. They didn't allow me in general pop, so they had me in the precinct. And they call themselves being good to me because they wanted me to tell it. And I'll always be telling them I'm not gonna tell nothing if I didn't get my way, if they didn't give me no drugs, if they didn't do something to please Cynthia, I wasn't gonna talk. And I was a key prosecution witness. So they called themselves appeasing me. But they wasn't. They was killing me. That's what they were doing. They didn't give a damn if I lived or died. All they wanted is what I can tell them about the big guys they wanted to put away. That's all. They weren't studying me. Told me they would change my life. Told me they'd give me a new identity. They ain't do none of that. I had to get married to change my last name. You know, all that. They were supposed to did it, but they did. I had to get
So,
married. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, so that murder charge, you were charged with that for helping out as far as disposing of the body?
I could have been just not getting out of penitentiary right now. You know, this happened in 79. Now I probably would have got 25 years, 30 years. So I probably would have just been getting out of prison now for being there. You know, I seen it. I seen them. They singing people's heads and hands cut off their body. Uh, I went with my old man to help get rid of the bodies. You know, I was scared shitless. I was a baby. The hell, I mean, this was some shit you seen on TV, and here I am living. I was scared to death, but did nobody realize that? Well, nobody thinking about how Cynthia was feeling. All they was thinking about is winning this case. Now, they didn't even send me to a psychiatrist. They didn't give me no kind of help. They leave a safe open so I can get drugs out of it just to calm me down. Oh, it was horrible. It was just terrible. But I survived. I'm here with you. I survived. Yeah. So it's been a journey. It's been a
So,
real journey. And only by the grace of God am I here today. I was raised with the Lord and we went to church every Sunday, Baptist church and everything. I had an auntie, she used to every Sunday at 2 o'clock, she used to fall out. She just passed out. And I was one this woman just every at same time every Sunday, 2 o'clock. Bam, she go out. So I knew of God to be, from the family. But I didn't have no relationship with God. How can God love me and all that? I've been thrown in dumpsters. I've been raped, robbed, molested, beaten, all kind of stuff. What kind of God let that happen to you? You know, I didn't know nothing about God. I didn't believe in him. All I know is I heard about somebody named Jesus. I didn't know Jesus. I just got to know Jesus. I have a relationship with him now. And I realize now that without him, I wouldn't be here today. I am a total believer and I'm a miracle. And that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
hmm.
I am a miracle today. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. And I realize that now. So,
I still
uh,
find that's terrible that the police had no intention of trying to help you out and they were continuing to give you drugs. That's
yeah, no, it was awful. They didn't care. They did not care.
so
And see, if my mother would have had, if we didn't know, we were scared. I was scared. They were threatening my family, so, we didn't know. We didn't know what to do. We didn't have no high power lawyers like they had and everything. It was just me against the police and the crooks. That's it. I didn't have no lawyer. I didn't have nobody to speak up for me. I got myself about that shit by running away from their ass too. Cause that's what I did best, run. Soon as I got the opportunity and they took their eyes off of me, I was gone. I escaped from the damn jailhouse when they came looking for me. And they found me after I called them and told them where I was at.
so while you were in protective custody, you ran away?
I escaped, yeah. I left them where it was the holidays and I went to spend a holiday with my grandmother. Because they wouldn't let me see her. They wouldn't let me see nobody. Well, my mother didn't want to come to see me because she was scared that they was gonna try to kill her and my sisters and they was little kids then. They was babies. They all in their 40s. Now my 50s now. They all in their damn near 60s. Shoot, what I'm talking about. But they were little kids when I left home. And she was scared. But my grandmother, she would come. Because, mama had me at 14, so granny raised me. You know, I guess that's where the strength came from because my grandmama was a strong black woman, baby, and sat up there and drunk her. She used to drink Seagram's gin, about a half a gallon every day, and never. ever seen her drunk. Ever. Never seen my grandmama drunk. I ain't never seen my mama drunk. And she drank, she was, when she don't do it anymore, but when she was drinking, she was drinking Cuddy Sour milk and never seen her high. We happy drunks. We start having fun when we get to drinking and stuff. We don't be having all that fighting going on like at family functions and stuff like that. That wasn't allowed. So we didn't do that. But we all were alcoholics. Everybody. And I thought I was the only addict left. Come to find out, oh, this thing too. When this my baby sister died in 15, and I went home for Thanksgiving in 15. She died in December. And I found out my brother, who I love to death, used crack. And I liked it. It just because I had like prided on myself on I'm the only one in the house used drugs. I took all of that. So my sisters and brothers were saved. Bullshit. Excuse my French. They weren't. They were not saved. They used too, and it broke my heart. And two of them did. Broke my heart. And I was like, well, God, I didn't have to go through all of that then. I could have stayed home. If they was gonna use anyway, we might have would have ended up using together. Who knows? But I didn't have to leave home, you know. But that's what happened. So that was that. That's what really helped me get clean. When I found out that my brother and one of my sisters had smoked crack. I mean, they even told me how bad it was for them, and it blew me away. And right then and there, I said, no more. Couldn't do it no more. I just could.
Did
And I
you,
felt, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, did you find yourself maybe trying to be an inspiration for them? Where you were
I
trying
said,
to
I
say,
thought. That's what I thought. But that ain't what happened. I went through all of that pain, shame, and guilt, all of that for nothing. That's how I felt when I heard about it. It was all for naught. Because maybe, who knows? Maybe I didn't have to use as long. I used for 40 damn years, almost 45 years, every day, all day, from hurt, pain, guilt, shame. 45 years, a lot. For what? And they still ended up using. So that broke my heart too. Yeah. But look at me now. I got my own company. It's called the Two Sisters Ministries. Hence my sister that was on the line with you. She's
oh,
my
okay,
partner.
awesome.
She's my yeah, she's my partner. And we got the place called the Dorcas House. I'm trying to open up sober living homes for women. You know, maybe I can help somebody like me one day. Oh, I'm doing. I got about 5 clients now. I just don't have nowhere for them to live, and that's what they need. They need to get off these streets before the streets kill them. The clients I have, they bad. They like I used to be. I got a lot of newcomers. I like the newcomers.
So what is Two Sisters Ministries? What do you guys actually do? Give us a little background on your company.
Um, we that's what we do. We
Get
minister to
people
we
off the
gonna be
street. Do you give them
minister to
somewhere to live?
women. Yeah, we trying to open up a sober living homes to get them somewhere to live and change their lives and become a queen like me. You know,
Yeah.
because it can be done. I'm a living witness of that. It's been almost 7 years, and I haven't picked up. I haven't even thought about it. Well, I ain't gonna tell that lie. Yes, I have. We had them addict behaviors and addict thoughts sometimes. And like I was going through all this pain here lately, and my stomach is in real bad shape. And it comes from using 40 something years. I know what's wrong with my body, and it comes from all them damn drugs. So now I'm mad at myself for all the drugs my body told out. So the other day, they went to talking about enlarged liver and water in the spleen. a gallbladder, and I got a hernia, and I need emergency surgery. And it triggered me bad because pain makes me use, you know. Uh, Anytime I'm in a lot of pain, I want to go get high. And I'll be darned. I was on my way. This is about, I say about a month ago. I was on my way to the dope man after all these years of not using and helping others not to use. And I was straight on my way to the dope man. That's how cunning and powerful these drugs is. They go on and get you something. Go on and get you something. You won't be hurting now. And then I had to roll them tapes back, and I said, well, Lord, if I do that, this is going to fall apart. That is going to fall apart. And most importantly, I'm not going to make it this time. I'm going to die. I mean, physical death. I've been living a death for 40 something years, but I'm talking about leaving this world for real. If I pick up, I ain't got another pickup, and I know it. So I can't. I just can't. So the car was going one way, and all of a sudden it did a U-turn, and I ended up back at my house. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Once again, he saved my life. Because I was all my focus was straight ahead to the man. I'm going to get me some. Get rid of this damn pain. I'm tired of hurt. Somehow that car came all the way back, circled. I mean, I was way on the other side of town too. It circled all the way back around to my house, about 5, 6 miles away from where I was headed to. I got back home only by the grace. That's on because I was on my way. And that comes from the pain. That's a trigger for me. Pain. Physical pain, mental pain, you know, emotional pain. I I'm good though now. I know how to deal with it. I go to my 12-step meetings. I do my work. I have a sponsor now. I got clean by myself and wanting to help other women. That's when I started getting clean because I think that's been a calling God had for me all this time. Now I know why He had me going through what I did so that I can be like this, so I can help another woman like me. Now I know, but I ain't know then. I thought He was punishing me or something or something. It wasn't no God or something. But now I know. And it's just I just got me a sponsor. Uh I think we on about 5th month. I was almost 7 years of not using. So I guess they call it like a dry jump, you know. Now I do the work. I do my 12 step. I go to meetings. I meet nice people like you know, out in my community. I'm trying to hook up with my churches and stuff. Cause like where I live in Georgia, like I don't stay too far from Atlanta, but I don't want to go to Atlanta. I'm I, I'm petrified to go to Atlanta because I don't feel strong enough personally as an addict to go to Atlanta. Atlanta is horrible. It is no place for a person like me, and especially for like I said last four. Well, I've been here with my sister for the last 4 years, but prior to that, in my journey of getting clean, I was in and out of hotels. I was still doing some addict behavior, stealing, trying to keep a roof over my head, all that kind of stuff. I just wasn't using drugs. That's all. But I was doing everything else that an addict does. And uh, I just got out of that. I just been, I said for the last 2 years, I've been the last 4 years, uh, I'm working on myself really, really hard because I don't want to go back. I don't want to use no more. It ain't nothing in that. It ain't nothing. You're going to keep on doing what you keep on doing, the same old thing, expecting different results is not going to work. And I'm learning that every day. And it's a daily process. It is not easy, and it's one day at a time. For me, it's like 1 hour because I know me. I'm sick. I am, and I know it. I don't need nobody to tell me I'm sick. I already know. So that's why I have to stay on my guard against the enemy. I just have to. If I don't, I'm dead. That's just bottom line. I'm dead. So That's my story.
That's great. That's a great, I really appreciate you sharing all that with us.
You're welcome, sweetie.
So
It was my pleasure. Mm-hmm.
my last question is, do you have any advice for people listening and watching?
Yes. Get a sponsor, go to meetings, find you somebody you can trust, and get that shit out you. You know, you don't have to hold all that stuff by yourself no more. Get in them rooms, find you somebody. Now, some of them rooms ain't no good either, though, but you gotta lead you in the right direction. And whoever your higher power is, get connected with them. I choose for mine to be God, so that's how I win. You know, just do them things, and they'll love you until you can love yourself. That's what they told me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still doing it. I go to meetings every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Talk to my sponsor. She put me to work. She just got, I'm just now finishing my first step again. And that step there is, it took me 6 months and it ain't over. You have to surrender every day. Every day you have to surrender to this disease called addiction. Don't let it beat you. Don't let it get you down because we do recover. Yeah, I'm a living witness to that. That's all.
All right. That's a great place to wrap it up. So for everyone listening and watching, if you like what you saw and heard, go below and give us a like. Also subscribe to the channel so you'll see when we upload more videos. Also check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. We also have a Facebook group and page. If you go to the group, you'll see under the events tab that we do nightly Zoom meetings every night at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And that's all I have for today. So until next time.